Happy Sunday, MBA friends. Reese and I wanted to read you a cool story called Gilbert Goldfish Wants a Pet. This story is written by Kelly DiPiccio and illustrated by Bob Shea. Looking at this book, I would like you to point to the title. Awesome. Now I would like you to tell whomever you're with what the illustrator does, and then what does the author do? Awesome, you're right. The illustrator writes the story. The author writes the story and the illustrator draws the pictures. Gilbert Goldfish Wants a Pet. To any outsider, Gilbert had everything a goldfish could ever want. A magnificent stone castle, a treasure chest full of gold, and a feast of tasty flakes that fell from the sky just in time for breakfast every day. But the one thing Gilbert did not have was the very thing that he wanted most, a pet. Sometimes he imagined his pet would be small, sometimes big, sometimes really big. Sometimes Gilbert imagined his pet would have fur, or feathers, or floppy ears. But every day and always, Gilbert imagined what it would be like to have a pet to care for and to love. Then one day, Gilbert woke up to find a dog barking at him. Bark, bark, bark. Gilbert blinked his eyes to make sure he wasn't dreaming. The dog wagged his tail and licked the bowl. Gilbert swam around and around in happy circles. The dog around and around in happy circles too. A pet, Gilbert gulped. I have a pet. The dog barked and barked and barked some more. Bark, bark, bark. Gilbert never dreamed his pet would be so noisy. How do you think Gilbert's feeling? And so thirsty. He's drinking out of the fish's water bowl. A week passed. A very tired Gilbert woke up, and the barky bark dog was gone. The castle was quiet again. Gilbert was just a teensy bit relieved. A few days later, Gilbert noticed a small gray mouse peering at him through the glass. Gilbert's little fish heart went pitter-patter swish. The mouse licked her paws and sniffed the bowl. Gilbert swam around and around in happy circles. The mouse, who thought Gilbert was a large chunk of cheddar cheese, ran around and around in circles too. Squeak, squeak, squeak. A pet, Gilbert gulped happily. I have a quiet pet. The mouse sniffed and sniffed and sniffed some more. Sniff, sniff, sniff. When the hungry mouse determined that Gilbert was not, in fact, a block of cheese, she ran away. And she never came back. Gilbert's little fishy heart went pitter-patter plop. How do you think he's feeling? I think you're right. More time passed and Gilbert had just about given up on his dream when a fly landed on his bowl. Well, hello there, fella, Gilbert called out cheerfully. The startled fly buzzed around in circles. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Gilbert jumped up and the wide-eyed fly was there to greet him. A pet, Gilbert gulped. I have a quiet, friendly thwap. Oh my, poor fly and poor Gilbert. He cried enough tears to fill 10-gallon aquarium. In the morning, Gilbert opened his eyes. Somebody was watching him. Gilbert gulped. Somebody flicked its long tail and wiry whiskers. Who do you think was watching him? Gilbert cautiously swam around and around in circles. Somebody followed. What do you think it is, Reese? Gilbert jumped. Somebody jumped too. Gilbert thought, eyeing the curious new creature before him. Not too loud, not too rude, and not too squished. A pet, Gilbert gulped. I have the perfect pet. You look kinda hungry, Gilbert said. Would you like to join me for breakfast? The creature moved in closer and closer and closer, and then it took a big bite. What do you think it bit? Of a delicious green flake. The pink ones are really good too, Gilbert said with a smile. Would you like to show me around the castle? Now Gilbert really does have everything a goldfish could ever want, including a pet named Fluffy. Okay, friends, I have 2 important questions for you. 1, if you had a pet, what would it be? And number 2, with that pet, what would you name it? So I would like you to either get a piece of paper to draw a picture of your pet or a piece of paper to write about your pet. You can tell me what your pet looks like. You can label your picture. So my pet, Reese, here, I don't know if you can see him. He's a dog, and he's brown, and he's rather large. He's not very small, and he's a little noisy too, in case you didn't hear him. So I would take a piece of paper, and I would draw Reese. For the younger grades, it's okay to just label the pictures and try writing out your sentence. All right, I hope you enjoyed reading Gilbert Goldfish Wants a Pet with me and Reese. Have a good night.